Hi everyone. Well, it's been a couple of weeks since we've done this, so good to be back chatting. I wanted to, I guess, after Sandown, work out what what was wrong with the car and stuff before I come and had a chat because I knew we'd find something on it, but I wanted to, yeah, to make sure I found it before I had a chat. I was pretty disappointed, so we found an issue with the car, which was a shock absorber issue that went in the car. So effectively the wrong settings were put on and it got fitted. So yeah, that explains the poor race pace and the mistakes from Steve Owen, and you know when he spun out and stuff. So he copped a hard time, but the car was bad. So anyway, that's a wrap on Sandown. But the next one's Bathurst. So pretty cool to go back as a defending champ. I genuinely think we could still win this race. You know, at Sandown, our car was very quick when we had it set up properly. So, you know, I'm confident we can get another forward win, and time will tell. Also, at the end of this, we'll give away some pretty cool prizes. So thanks to Pepsi Max crew for giving some tickets for the Sky Lounge at Bathurst. It's going to be super cool. So I'll go into a bit more detail when I finish, but yeah, really cool to give away some tickets for that because it is a very unique experience. So really cool that I can do that. So the first one's how you prepare yourself for Bathurst. Is there any pressure on you since your win last year? I prepare pretty much the same as what any other round. It sounds silly, but physically Bathurst isn't that tough, but mentally it's quite tough. So but really we just need to make sure we have everything right with the car, and because those long races, once you're in and you've got a mistake, it's impossible to win. So preparation at the workshop's been pretty good. It really feels similar to last year, where we had pit stop issues last year, and we changed all our wheel nuts. This year we had a damper issue, a couple of damper issues, and that's been addressed. So I think you'll see better results from us coming forward. But yeah, time will tell. But I think we can still win this race. Other than Red Bull, who do you think will be FPR's biggest threat? I think that the Volvo is going to be a threat because it handles really well in the straight line, which you know, Mountain Straight, Conrod Straight, it's dead time, and it's pretty scary that both Triple Eight and the Volvo were worried about the rev limiter down the straight. We are going to struggle to make the rev limiter, so that effectively is going to be dead time. So we're going to need a good car to go across the top of the mountain and stuff, but I'm confident that we can do that. So they're probably the two biggest threats. HRT's got quick cars as well at the moment down the straight, so lots of threats, but effectively you beat Triple Eight, you're probably going to go close to winning it. What's the biggest hurdle for going back to back this year? It's probably the same sort of things I just said. There's the track surface is going to be a big change. We don't know about setup. I think the lap times are predicted to be 1.5 to 2 seconds quicker. So if that's the case, it means there's a lot more grip. You need to set the car up for the grip. So that's probably the biggest hurdle, and making sure you use the practice sessions, because before you know it, it's going to be race time, and you can get underdone. It sounds silly, but the time flies in practice. So that's going to be the biggest hurdle, getting on top of track grip, and the difference between drag and performance. So straight line speed versus car handling. So a couple of things that we need to try and work on. How do you think Super Black will perform? I think they'll go okay. I think their role is to really just to go around and finish. And when you've got that sort of focus at Bathurst, you normally get a good result, and you do a lot better than what you think. So first of all, the objective to finish, and then before you know it, you're in the top 10. You've got a car that's not damaged, and then you can fight to the end. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the top 10 if they have a clean day. And it's great that they're on board. They're two young drivers, and it's a really cool concept to have New Zealand having their own team, because in the past it hasn't been done properly, and this time it looks like it could be. So yeah, it's cool that they're on board, and hopefully there's more than Bathurst, but be good to see them on the grid. If asked, would you do Dancing with the Stars and All the Best for Bathurst? I'm not sure. We watched it last night actually, so I was pretty comfortable on the couch, lying on the couch watching other people dance. But yeah, you never know. Channel 10 now. Next year there might be another show coming on, but yeah, who knows? What do you think of the proposed shorter races in 2015? I like the longer races. I think the shorter races take the racing away a little bit. They're meant to spice it up, but you can't strategize. There's no tyre degradation, all those sort of things. I'd prefer the 200k race as opposed to the short ones. But whatever it is, you just have to go with it. But I'd prefer longer races. Everyone loves Bathurst because it's the longest race. So yeah, not a massive fan of the short ones. Have you ever sat your boys in your V8 race car? Do your boys enjoy watching your race? I have sat them in. I sat Oliver in when he was about 6 months, and Austin when he was about 6 months. So yeah, they've been in there and they love it, and they come to pretty well every race, and yeah, they're really cool support. So definitely, I think I'm up for 2 go-karts in a few years' time. But they yeah, they really love it and support me, and they'll be at Bathurst cheering me on again. Are you going to get a better start at this year's Bathurst than last year's? Well, it can't be much worse. That was a shocker last year. So, but who knows? You can never predict it. Maybe I'll put Steve Owen in to start and let him do it. But last year, fueled up, bogged down, and yeah, went backwards. So probably the worst start I've ever had in V8 supercars. But you know what? If you get a start like that and win the race, I don't really care too much. But yeah, it wasn't good. Do you think James Warburton is wrecking V8 supercars? I think he's actually done a pretty good job, to be honest. I think he has saved a lot of things, and his focus is really good, and he involves the teams, which is what it should be. So I think he's doing a really good job. I don't think he's wrecking it. I think he's turning it around, to be honest. I think it was at a low, and when he came in, he's really bumped it back up. So pretty lucky to have him, I think, in the sport. If you could have any driver for this race, be it lead or co-driver, who would it be and why? I don't really know. I think I'd actually like to team up with Chaz at the moment. I think him and I would have a lot of fun at Bathurst, so I'd love to have that main driver all come back in. But yeah, he would be pretty cool to do it with, just from a fun week perspective. You know, young guy with a lot of talent, and then I'm got a lot more experience as well. So together, I think we could work really well and have a fun week. So, but yeah, it's never going to happen really. They're always going to split us up. So the old rule where you could team up, I don't think will ever come back. How tight do the cheeks get when you're going across the top of the mountain at speed, especially when there is some rain about? They get pretty tight. You know, you really can't explain Bathurst, and when you try to, you don't do it justice. But when you drive over Skyline, it's 240 kilometres an hour, 4th gear on the limiter, and it's a blind corner. You pretty much all you can see is a Skyline sign, and you see blue sky, and then you're just hoping that the corner is where you predict it to be. So yeah, super scary, but massive thrill as well at the same time. But throw in a bit of rain, it's yeah, it's almost undrivable. So pretty scary spot, but pretty thrill-seeking as well. What's your thoughts on Marcus Ambrose coming back to V8s? I think it's good. I think you know, he could have quite easily come back here and retired, because really he has nothing left to prove here except for probably Bathurst is his big incentive. But yeah, it's good. It's good he's come back. He can, he could have quite easily come back as the king and just retired, but he's trying to, he has to prove himself again. So it's good to see him do it, and it's good that Penske's come on and pretty well saved DJR as well. So yeah, I think it's a good thing. Do you feel confident about going back to back with FPR? But that's my question, and good luck, and can't wait to see you again. Yeah, I think we can go back to back. I really think, yeah, I think we've got good car speed. I just think we need to make sure that we don't have any errors. And at Sandown, I had really good car speed, and then in the race, Chaz was really quick, Reynolds was really quick, and we would have been if we had the right damper in the car. So I genuinely think we've got pretty good car speed, and I think that Steve Owen is one of the best co-drivers. So together, I think we've got a good chance to win it. So we're going up there expecting to do well, and you have to have belief that you can win it. So we're confident, but not overconfident. It's going to be tough, but there's no reason why we can't win it. How did the feel at Sandown as opposed to last year? Well, Sandown was with the issues we struggled, but the car was a little bit different. Each year you try and develop the car, so yeah, it was a little bit different, but still, still competitive. So lap times were quicker than last year. I think they were about a second a lap quicker. So the competition just keeps stepping up. So it's quite tough, but yeah, the car felt quite good at Sandown when it was in the right setup. What is the most draining around Bathurst, the physical side or mental? Both would be extreme. I reckon it's all mental, really, because you've got to be on for the whole weekend, and it's probably the only sport in the country that one mistake can be, ruining to the whole weekend. So if you crash on Thursday, you crash on Friday, it's so hard to salvage yourself back for the weekend. So yeah, no mistakes. Mentally, you've got to be on, and that's the toughest part. Physically, you get long straights to recover, but mentally, you just can't switch off. So really, yeah, you've got to keep your mental focus. What's going through your head when you're on the grid about to conquer the mountain? There's a lot of nerves, a lot of questioning whether you've done enough, you're prepared, your competition, all those sort of things. So there's a lot that goes through your mind. And then when they sing out the national anthem and get on the tunes, it sort of pumps you up a bit as well. So yeah, it's pretty nerve-wracking, to be honest, on the grid. Would you consider a drive for DJR Team Penske after a long stint in FPR? Do you think you could benefit from a team change? I don't think so. I think FPR is a great team. They've been good to me. I've been good to them as well. So together, you've got a long relationship. I've got a long contract with them, but you always need to change things at the team. So you can never go into the year with exactly the same, I guess, people, mindset, whatever it is. So if you're not winning, you've got to look at things. So, but FPR is always trying to win, and if I could win a championship, I'd love it to be with that team. So, yeah, it's a good association. I've been there for a long time, and hope that we can do it. What are your thoughts on the resurfacing of Bathurst, and can we do a speed dating behind the back of the pits again at Bathurst with all the photos in our group? Yeah, we can do the photos, no problem, but the surface change will be pretty crazy, really. People don't understand a lot if they don't follow it closely, but when the track goes the same direction, it's exactly the same length, it's the same this, same that. You put a track surface on it, and you go 2 seconds quicker. So it means across the top of the mountain, you're 250k an hour, not 240. So you're rolling the car more. The attitude of the car is different. So that's how you set it up. So it makes a massive difference. Tyre degradation won't be an issue like it has been. So you should see cars going quicker at the end of a stint, not at the start of a stint when the fuel comes off. So lots of things are changing a little bit just purely because they've rolled bitumen and it's a different track surface. Which part of Bathurst do you think is the most technical and hard on the car in general? The most technical bit's probably Skyline into the dipper. It's you can sort of approach it a few different ways, but that's probably the most technical because when you get one wrong, it flows all the way through, and it can wreck up the whole rest of the corner. So if you don't get it right at the start, it ruins you for the whole bit. So that's probably the most technical and also the most, it's the hardest one to get right. So purely for that reason. Frosty, are you confident you and Owen, excuse me, are just as good a combination as you and Richo last year? Yeah, I think Steve Owen is a really good combination. So, the car he had at Sandown was horrible, and for him to drive it the way he did was pretty good, to be honest. So, we should give him a good car, and then you'll see what he can do because, it's pretty cruel giving him the car we did it at Sandown and expecting him to do a good job because it was pretty bad. So, we'll give him a good one. I think he'll be super fast. He always is, and give him a good car. That's our job to do that, and you'll see a good result. 2 questions. How do you and when do you start to switch on for Bathurst? And obviously Renee and the kids will be there. How does Renee prepare, cope with stress? How do you balance your time at the track as a father but as a driver with a huge responsibility? It's a big week. We pretty well start. I've been watching a bit of Bathurst stuff already, but the Monday, the drive up, you really start to get on board, and then the weekend starts Thursday. So you never really switch off. It's a massive week. Go to bed, can't sleep. You're thinking about setups. You're thinking about all those things. Texting your engineer at midnight. All those sort of things. It's doesn't really get off your mind, but at the same time, you've got to rest and make sure you're in a good mindset as well. So good act, and that's where Renee and the kids being there are good because if you walk in the door early enough, the kids run up, give you a cuddle, have a play. Sort of takes your mind off things a bit. It's good having everyone there. So they definitely help you relax because it's stressful, and when you're at Bathurst, all you're thinking about is winning that race. So you got to try and switch off for a little bit. Would love to know what you guys get up to in the off season. Normally, we go water skiing, which is good, or just try and get away, spend time with the family. So it's December, I think 10's our last commitment. As soon as that finishes, you can pretty well do what you want. So it's a good chance to spend time with the family and really enjoy your time off. The build up to Bathurst is getting exciting. The packing has begun. Where will the Sky Lounge be situated on the track? As much as I'd like to say, see you on the podium, I know the day is long. Keep that Ford running smooth. And we'll see you at the end of the race. I'm excited. Big Kev. The Sky Lounge is at Turn 1, so pretty cool spot. And I hope I'm on that podium. I think it's going to be a long day, but if we're there at the end, I reckon we've got a good chance. So hopefully, hopefully it's another good result for us this year. Do you think you were driving less aggressively this year? Do you think having family around the track is making you a calmer driver? Next time you have a chat featured, I hope you will be answering questions about how it feels to win Bathurst. Thanks, mate. No, I think you got to pick your moments in motorsport, and when the car's good, I'll be as aggressive as the next bloke. But when it's not, you got to sort of concede your battle sometimes. But Bathurst, if it's the last lap and I'm running second, I'm just going to do whatever you have to win. So there'll be no sitting there, conservatively trying to putt around for second. So you got to push when you have to and conserve when you have to. And if it's at Bathurst in the last lap, we ain't holding back. So But yeah, family doesn't relax you. It doesn't do this. It just, when you put your helmet on, it's about the smartest way to get the most points to get to the end. So yeah, I'm sure there'll be times we'll be aggressive this year again. It looks like the lead up to Saturday will be wet weather but dry on Sunday. Does that affect your preparation? I didn't know that, so that's not good. I hate the wet at Bathurst because yeah, it's horrible up there. But it will affect my preparation now. But we'll see what it's like. I guess Bathurst can rain at the top of the mountain. It can be sunny at the bottom. It's a strange joint. So yeah, we'll wait and see. But if it's wet, we just have to deal with it. If you're going to Sunday and it's been wet the whole time and just dry Sunday, that's going to throw out the biggest, fight because no one's going to know their cars, no one's going to know the track grip. It's just guesswork. So it'd be crazy if it rained all the way up. You'd see an absolutely incredible race. So could be good for the fans to watch it. Are you looking forward for the FGX update? In terms of the race car, I'm not sure what that will do. In terms of the road car, I can't wait. I think I've got an XR8 coming pretty soon. So, yeah, can't wait to see it. It's massive history. It's the last Falcon. So it'd be pretty cool to say in years' time that you drove the last Falcon and all those sort of things. So, yeah, it should be good. But who knows? I don't know what the race car will be. I can't imagine it will change too much. But when you read the speed cafes and V8s, apparently we're allowed to homologate a new car next year in terms of aero tests and stuff. So I'd expect our car to get a tweak up anyway, even if we ran exactly the same car. What will be the hardest thing to do in the race? And I really want the tickets. I'm a massive Frosty fan. I've been since Sandown when you debuted. Well, you could win the tickets if you answer a couple of questions when we're finished. Hopefully you do. But the hardest thing in the race is pretty well to understand that the race goes all day, because the emotion, the build up, all those sort of things, you get to 12 o'clock and just pretty well, there's still another half a race to go. So just being there mid-race in a good position, straight car, yeah, just that's the toughest part about Bathurst, because you get drawn into battles on lap one, you get drawn into battles mid-race, and there's still a long way to go. So that's probably the biggest challenge. All the best for Bathurst. So plenty of faith you can win again. What part of Bathurst suits your car the best? How often do you drink Pepsi Max? Across the top of the mountain last year was really good. I found that our car is very good across the top, and then its weakest points are the last corner in turn one. So often you'll see the first sector is a bit hard, then the second sector is very strong, and the third sector is quite hard as well. But whether that's the two long straights or whatever it is, but top of the mountain, that's where you pretty well have a good crack. The car handles quite well, and you can just hang it out. That's it's good up the top. Does the leg that you snapped at Lake Epilogue a couple of years ago give you any trouble, especially in harder events like Adelaide, Surface and Bathurst? Also, where's a good spot to splash the boat around in Epilogue? No, it doesn't hurt in the car. It hurts when I go running and the next day, but in the car it doesn't hurt at all. Good spots in Epilogue. It's pretty well anywhere. It's pretty big lake, so you can get out and pretty well find a sheltered spot. But yeah, we go anywhere at Epilogue. You just try and find a good spot. How does your team prepare in the week leading up? Is there anything extra or special they do for the biggest race? They prepare very well, because 4 weeks is a long time off, so they've got the longest time possible. My guys have done a really good job on my car for this prep. They've stripped it, completely resurfaced it, given it a paint, put some stickers on it. It looks brand new. So yeah, they do get a bit more love, but that's purely because we've got longer time. So, but if they had 2 weeks, they'd do it in 2 weeks. So yeah, it's probably just the time more than anything. Will Super Black Racing have their own pit bay or share? How will it affect your pit stops? It'll be at the other end of pit lane, so they've got their own pit crew. They're not sharing with us, so they're pretty well separate, which is good because you don't want them to interfere with your race, but at the same time, you don't want to interfere with theirs. So 5 cars into 2 booms wouldn't go. So yeah, it's good. It's good they're at the other end of pit lane, and they'll do our briefings. They'll pretty well do everything with us, and then come race day, they charge on down to their pits, and we go into ours. So it works quite well. My question is simply, do the teams know the actual results of the aero parity testing held recently? That's a good question. I don't actually know the answer, but you read a lot of things, which is quite frustrating. But apparently initially you read that all the aero tests are the same, but then you're open for homologation. You wouldn't open for homologation if every car was the same, because there's no reason to. So to me, that proves that there's differences. I know there's differences, but what the data shows, who knows what will come out of it. But at the same time, you're not whinging. We need to do a good job at Ford to try and push the limits and get the most out of it. And yeah, I'm sure our guys are working on it, and I'm sure it'll all get sorted. Would you love to be racing a Mustang instead of an XR in the next few years? Mustang would be pretty cool, but there's a lot of things I need to overcome to get a Mustang into the sport. So, but yeah, who knows? As long as it's got a Ford badge, I don't really mind what the car is. It could be a Mondeo, it could be a Focus, it could be a Falcon, it could be a Mustang, it could be anything. So as long as it's got the blue shiny badge on the front, that's probably the biggest concern that you want on the car. What do we got? What are you thinking while sitting in your car just about to start a race, especially at Bathurst? Do you carry a lucky charm? Well, last year I actually had a lucky coin, which sounds probably a bit silly, but I pulled my backpack off my shelf and a little coin fell off the shelf. It was a little Arab Emirates 1,000 coin, which is worth about 2 cents. Fell down, and I picked it up, and I thought it must mean something. So I put it in my backpack, and then obviously we won the race last year. So I'm claiming that coin won us the race. But then I kept putting it on the shelf and purposely knocking it down, and because I wanted to win the championship. So it worked once. So I don't think it'll work again. So I need to find something else. So whether someone's got a 4-leaf clover or a horseshoe or whatever the lucky thing is, a rabbit's foot, or I'm happy to take it. I need the luck. So you need to find something for this one. Would you rather win Bathurst this year or win the championship? I think to win the championship, I'm going to have to win Bathurst. So, but I'd love to win the championship. It's something that really annoys me not winning it. I think we've had good chances, but we're not good enough for 12 months, and that's the thing that really annoys me. So I'd love to win it, and I hope I can before I retire and finish. And this year was looking great, and we've had that little slump in the middle. So it really hurts inside that I haven't won one. So pretty desperate to win it. So but if I could win Bathurst and not the championship again, well, I'd definitely take it. So they're both good, but the championship's the big one for me. Before you became a racer, were you a Bathurst pilgrim, and what is your fondest memory? I used to love Bathurst. My best memory was I was a massive Cedo fan when I was young. So I remember the first year he hit 300 kilometres an hour down Conrad Straight, and all the Commodores and stuff were only doing 295, and that was the biggest moment. He put it on pole, and it was the year that he led with 8 laps to go. That was that's probably the best thing I've ever remembered, because I met him there that day, and all that sort of stuff. So he was really cool, and 300k an hour, fastest car down straight. That was pretty cool. We all know how busy you are being the #1 Ford driver, but my question is, what is the best thing you love to do with Oliver on your weekends off? I'm taking my wife and my 6-year-old son down for the first one this year. Can't wait for him to experience. Oh, we do lots of stuff, but yeah, it's just good to spend time with the kids. To be honest, it's whether it's hitting the tennis ball out the back, or kicking a footy, or going to the snow, playing hide and seek. We do all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I just love time with them, to be honest. And it's sometimes the stuff that you do for free. So the hide and seek's probably one of the funnest things I have, because we play in the dark. I give them the torch, and you've got to try and come around and find you with the torch. So yeah, love my time with the 2 little boys. And yeah, sometimes the smallest things are the most enjoyable. I've got a couple more, and then we'll ask some questions and give some stuff away. It'd be good. Would you like to see the Australian Grand Prix event turn into an actual championship round for the V8 supercars? I think the only reason it hasn't been is because of the TV coverage argument, Channel 10 versus 7. So it'd be good as long as the races are run at a long enough stint, because at the Grand Prix we're very controlled. So I think it'd be good. I think if we're racing there, we may as well race for points. It costs the same to race for free as what it does to race for points. So yeah, why not? What do we got? We all know that drivers are fit, but how do you keep your mind and reflexes sharp? We do a bit of training for reflexes and stuff, but yeah, training at the gym I find is mentally challenging. Really, you have to focus to train hard. So yeah, I think there's ways. Experience is definitely good. So you get experience, you definitely get better as the weekends go on. But training is the big thing at the gym. There's reaction machines you can use. There's ways of training to train the mind. So yeah, we do a lot of training at the gym. All right, well, that'll do us for tonight. But now the cool part. So to win a double pass to the Pepsi Max Crew Sky Lounge, this is pretty cool too. So it's 60 meters in the air, and you can see 80% of the track from turn 1 at Mount Panorama. So thanks to Pepsi Max Crew, they didn't have to donate these to me, and they have, because they know how great all the Ford supporters are and how cool you all are. So the fairest way to do it is, I thought I have 7 double passes, so I'll ask 7 questions, and the first person to answer each question correctly can win the double pass. But obviously you need to be going to Bathurst, so don't answer the question if you're not coming to Bathurst, because you won't go up in there. It's pretty obvious. But yeah, cool. All right, so the first one, and you're going to reply on the status. So post your answer on the status, and in the first one, who answers it correctly will win the prize. I'm a really horrible game show host here, but all right, the first one. Number 1, how many Bathurst starts have I had, including this year in the V8 Supercar Main Series? Number 2, what is my hash photos directly to my website? Number 3, do I drive or do I fly to Bathurst from Melbourne? Number 4, and this is a sad one, when was my last race win? It's probably going to be the hardest one because it's been a while. Number 5, what is the chosen soft drink of FPR? That's easy. Number 6, this is a hard one. What is my favourite movie of all time? Now, it's got a few sayings in it. It's got Tom Cruise in it. And this one's for you, Harry. I think we all know what one it is. And number 7, who was my teammate in the Brazil Stock Car Championship this year? So you only need to answer one question. So first one to get that question right, number it. So how many Bathurst starts have I had, including this year in the V8 series? Question 1. answer next to it. So maybe jump straight to number 7, jump straight to number 4. Don't go number 1 because everyone might go number 1. Just mix it up a bit. So they're the 7 questions, and I'll post the correct answers now. If you're the first person with the correct answer, private message me your name, email address, and phone number, and then we can set you up with 2 pretty cool tickets to watch from 60 meters above. So, all right, guys, thanks again for coming on and having a chat, and awesome questions, and let's go kick some ass at Bathurst. Thanks, guys.